ever since the discovery of oil and stuff like that, the industrial age start to give birth. Now factories start to establish. Now it's no longer who own the land for the people them could have farm upon. It's now who can build upon the land and own a factory or own a company. So now the real estate on the land start to become more valuable than the land itself. Now people start to build upon the land, people start own up the land. Alright, now the problem they encountered is that we don't have people for work in these factories. We don't have people for work in these companies where we have bring up. How we got somebody for monitor the manufacturing of this type of product? Or how we got somebody for monitor the building of this equipment? We need people for monitor this. Now, in order for them get people for monitor this, they have to teach them, they have to train them how to do that. They have to train them to become attuned to that environment. They had to train them for understand how the hours in this working system would work. So now what they started to do, they started to build, they erected a school system that would train you from your youth to adapt naturally to this type of system, right? Why I think the hours of school is the similar hours to the hours of the working world, right? There's a lot of systematic things that was put in place for us to become more for us to be able to easily gravitate to the working world, right? Now they established a teaching system. This teaching system was to bring us into the industrial age. What was the teaching system that they established? All right, well, ensure that we give them the basics understanding, teach them to do this homework, teach them to obey this instruction that is given, teach them how to be on time. You take lunch at this time, make sure you come back at that time, right? You reach school at this time, make sure you leave work at that time, right? You see, that is where them building a school. You can't, that is, we have a set lunchtime. You have a set lunchtime, you have a set time when you come in, you have a set time when you leave. You have a set time when you're supposed to do homework. You have a set time you're supposed to do classwork. You have a set time you're supposed to do group work, which they started to implement a couple decades after, right? Now, we start building, we start get used to that way of doing things. And guess what? It worked. It worked. Their plan worked. They needed people to work in these industrious governments, these industrious companies, these complexes that were being built on these lands. So now, after they trained the people and realized that this work, this is a system that has been globally recognized and put in place to train up persons so that they can go into the working world. And now them start with pretty it up, nice it up, say, oh, this is benefits, Yeah, ensure say somebody once them come out of school, them have a job, them can make money, provide for them family. You're able to get a mortgage, you're able to pay down for one car, you're able to make money for pay your bills, I'm sorry, nice it up, right? No. Something happened. The industrial age ended. Like every other age. First was the agricultural age. Then a big, huge breakthrough, technological advancement. Oil get discovered. Them start to learn how to harness electricity. Because, let me give you this. There was a time when they feared that utilizing electricity in a small space, for example, our homes right now, would have been dangerous. So everybody did fear that, everybody run from that. Nowadays, we really believe that it abnormal not to have light in your house. Right? The Industrial Revolution is just a warped version of slavery, don't you think? Brother, there's so much that they did. You see, because the persons who orchestrated the industrial industry were persons in power. Let me give you an example of one of them. Ford. I don't remember his first name. But the owner of Ford Motors, right? He was one of the individuals who orchestrated, who pushed this agenda for our persons to become teachable to enter these eras, right? Now, persons were forced, some persons do it willingly. As I said, them quote it in such a way that this is a space where you're supposed to naturally enter. This is a space where I allow you to make money when you come out of school. This is a space where I gonna allow you to be able to take care of pitney them. Them quote it really nice, right? Now, We exited the industrial age well over a century ago. What I mean by that? Agricultural age, industrial age, digital age. We entered the digital age decades ago, generations ago. That is when technology started to become more compact. It started in a TV. Them start have it in a phone. Them start be able to connect wire lines across countries. Right? That is the entrance of the digital age. Now, while the digital age came in, they still had the industrial age structure. What was the industrial age structure? The teaching, the schooling system that brought people into the industrial age. They were still using that system to bring persons into the digital age. There was not any change. Now, one of the powerful things as to why they even kept that is because that kind of structure gave them control over the people, gave them more control over the society. The structure that the industrial age put in, the schooling system, kids sit down in front of one desk, in front of one teacher, online, people teach, the teacher teach, you learn, you do your homework at this time, you do your classwork at this time, you take lunch, make sure you come back from lunch at this time, make sure you reach a school in the morning at this time, make sure you leave at this time. That structure that they put in place, make sure you study this, just know the general, how this work, just know the general, how that, there's nothing that was narrowed down, there's nothing that was specifically studied for any individual student. Everybody just get the general, they were turning everybody into jacks, jack of all trades. Right? Now, remember, that was for the industrial age and it worked. Into the digital age, they kept it. Was it still working? Yes, because we're still there now. Our grandparents them experienced that. In fact, our parents, anybody parents who is between 55 and 45, right? They were the babies of the industrial age, of the digital age, sorry. So them are the ones where enter into the digital age, them born into it, right? Everybody older than that did experience the industrial age, right? So them born into the digital age, they still kept the same schooling system. I think the industrial age has its advantage and disadvantage because it does a lot for good. Exactly. No, don't get me wrong, Them system work. The system worked because it has brought us here to where we are now. As I said, that system was put in place to be able to have more control and regulated. They wanted to be able to have civilized citizens. To be civil. That's what civilized come from the word civil, right? To be normal, to be recognized as calm, to be approachable, right? When somebody say you're uncivilized, it means say you behave abnormal. You're not behave normal. You're not behaving in a controlled manner. But they wanted civilized people. So they put a system in place that would have everybody under control. So now they start to have civil citizens. Citizens, the same thing where the word come from, citizen, right? Now, then put all of that in place. Enter the digital age, we still have that system. It's been working, right? No, but problem. The beard doesn't connect either. Problem, right? What a problem? Persons started to experience more poverty. You started to have a bigger separation between the rich and the poor. Now, this industrial age did not carry the facilities that would educate enough to enter the digital age. That was a big problem, right? Now, after them seeing that over 50 years later, the paramount of the internet, right? 1980s, 1990s, them start saying, people don't know how to use these technology. The system we have in place don't teach people to use this technology. So now them start for alter, them start for add into the system already. Start for add, say, all right, you do this, you have this computer class, you have this kind of class, you have this computer science, you have this, you have to learn about this specifically, or maybe entropy, them start to put certain things in it, right? Now, after them do that, guess what the problem? They still try to keep the same system. Why them still try to keep the same system that came from the industrial age? Because it worked. It kept the people under control. No, you see why may I lead to the problem, you know. You see what happen. No, they kept the system in place, right? It enter the digital age, or we go through the digital age, we develop, we learn, who enter, who get rich, who end up in a poverty, who try push through, who try pass on, who tries to go through, you know, everybody fight, you fight out him, you fight out that, you know, you try to make your own, you try to learn about this tech, you try to learn about that, you know, everybody go through life, go through, buffer through, you know, you don't understand much, but you have to figure it out, you make all heap of mistakes, you have to try to learn from it, some people make mistakes and don't come back from it, right? That is an effect of the system that they grew up in. They weren't trained.